Obviously, we're back at it. We're very excited. We still need another 4 or 5 days of practice. Our players have had a good preseason camp. We've stayed healthy, and I think we've gotten good results. As school starts, they go through a little bit of process and adjustment, and we'll go back out there today, and it's going to be hot, which is good, gives us a chance to get adjusted to the heat. But all the name guys that have been talked about for the last 9 months or so are doing very well and competing, practicing very well. I'm pleased with the leadership that we're getting from Whedon and Blackman and Levy and Grant Garner and Broderick and Johnny and Markel and Quinn. The key guys that need to be really good leaders for us have done a good job up to this point. And we expect to play 6, 7, 8 freshmen. Not for sure exactly which one of those guys will be out there now, or I should say not for sure how many of those guys will be out there. But for the most part, we've got a number of guys that are in this class that can compete, so we'll give them the opportunity to put them on the field. And looking forward to the first game.
Can you talk just a little bit about Hubert Anium and how he's come back from his injury and how he's approached practice and where he's at now?
Hubert's had the best preseason camp that he's had since he's been here, and I'm somewhat hesitant to talk about a player that's competed so well over the last 3 weeks until he gets out and performs in games. But he's convinced me that he's ready to go. His foot feels good. He's made catches in camp. He's competed. He's not missed anything, and I expect for him to really play well this year. I think he's matured a lot, not only physically but mentally. Understands he's seen both sides of it. 2 years ago he had it, and he lost it with the injury. And sometimes those guys realize that it's a lot more fun being out there playing. And he's really competed well. I've been proud of what he's accomplished in the last month.
Mike Wilson-Yeoman's kind of a throwback guy. I mean, I know he went to you when the offense changed and he wanted to play, but tell me a little bit about that meeting and his ability to, he is going to play both sides of the ball now.
He's done very well. It started in the spring, and we certainly need him on offense in certain situations, and he has the ability to give us some pass rush in third downs, and so he's another young man that's come a long ways in the last 12 to 18 months, has really grown up and understands the process of being a college football player, and he's been able to handle both. He's given us great effort, and I expect him to make plays on both sides of the ball.
I think Brandy called him and said he's somewhat of a traitor sometimes. He had his wristband on some of the plays.
Yeah, he's done that before, which really you can't blame a guy for doing that. They should have made him take his wristband off when he's playing defense. But I would be a little more concerned about him if he wasn't trying to look at the plays, to be honest with you.
Mike, you talked in the past about one of the problems you guys have had to overcome is quality depth. Is this as deep a ball club as you've had since you've been here now?
I think so. Each year I've mentioned that we have some youth, but we're more athletic, and I think we're deeper now than we ever have been. If you just look at us offensively, everybody knows about the returning guys we have. We've always tried to find 5 offensive linemen and then maybe 1 or 2 that would give us some backup in case we needed it. I'm comfortable with 8 or 9 guys now. Defensively, we have everybody in the secondary back. Plus we have some young guys that will contribute at corner that don't have a lot of experience, but they played enough snaps last year in key games to make us comfortable. Obviously the safeties are back, and then we have Daquan Lowe coming back, who had an injury last year. He's an experienced player. Both ends are back. Sean Lewis. So we're replacing the 2 inside guys, and then we're replacing the 2 inside tackles. Donaldson and Jarka were really, really good for us for the last couple of years. But Nigel and Littlehead and Rogers, those guys have to give us something on the inside that have to, where we can maintain defensively and then improve as the season goes on. So I don't think there's any question that we have as much depth now as we've had since I've been the head coach here.
With that depth, does that take away the question marks then you would have through all of this preseason warm-up? Is that why camp has gone so well?
Maybe. I don't know if anybody really has that answer. We've been fortunate up to this point with injuries. I will say that we have not had an all-out scrimmage. We've had what I call a heavy thud scrimmage. We haven't just said we're going to roll the ball out there and let it play. I'm sure that contributed to some. But I just feel like we're further along as a football program. I've said that a number of times, and for those of you that have followed me for 4 or 5 years now, I just think that's a big part of it. I think there's a level of maturity here, and I hope that continues on throughout the season with all the preseason hype, for lack of a better term, that's going on. So I think that's contributed to us having a good camp.
Did you really not skip a beat with Todd coming in, taking Dana's place? It doesn't seem to be great transitions.
Well, we've had a smooth transition, and when you have a quarterback that's as mature as Brandon is and is willing to buy in, and he's a good guy and he's easy to get along with, that helps with that transition. Personalities are such a big part of what we do every day. And Todd came in and was willing to accept our offense. We've changed terminology and things, but we'd have probably done that anyway. But for the most part, we'll be very similar to what we've done last year. I would like to think that we can improve in short yardage and goal line. I didn't think we were very good in those situations last year. And I feel like the transition's gone very smooth. You have two guys that work very hard at it. Well, there's more than two, but the two main guys, being Todd and Brandon, have worked very hard.
3 or 4 years ago, Mike, you would always be asked if your defense can help you get to a goal or help you have a winning season. I guess the question now is it gotten to the point in the third year with Bill Young that it can keep you in the top 10 and help you contend for the Big 12 or the BCS?
I think they're going to be good enough to do that. I'd mentioned that I feel like they'll be more athletic. We have to get inside linebacker play from guys that nobody knows who they are. And I've mentioned to the team, nobody really knew who Blackman or Whedon were last year either, except the local media. So there's an opportunity for guys to step up and make plays. How some of those guys mature and how they developed early in the season or as the season progresses, nobody knows. But hopefully we've instilled the right information in them, and they're trained, and they'll continue to get better, and they'll live up to the expectations of the team. The one thing that we have working for us when we have discussions as a staff is there's guys on this team that are new but have either redshirted or been around and won a lot of football games. And so, hopefully that becomes a custom, and they'll start playing up to their expectations. And we have certainly told them that they have a responsibility to play well enough for us to win every game.
So Whedon now with a year and a half actual time as the program leader and the starting quarterback, and with a healthy thumb and the familiarity of the offense, do you think there's a chance? He's routinely listed as one of the best guys in the country, best quarterbacks. Do you think there's a chance, legitimate chance, he may be the best quarterback in the country?
It's hard for me to say because I don't know what's out there. I know that I wouldn't trade him for anybody. There's good ones in this league. Guy at Norman's playing good. Guy at College Station's playing good. Guy down at Waco played well. Just to name a few that we compete against. So I don't know what's out there. But his personality, his ability, what he's given to this team, and how he's developed, I wouldn't trade him for anybody in the country. And I said this earlier after watching him in the spring. I think he'll play this game for a long time from here on out because he's put together to do it, and he's bought in, and he's willing to play with pain and learn and do all the things it takes to be a good quarterback.
Mike, back on the defensive side of the ball, you've got two defensive ends, both senior. One's weathered injury since he got here and kind of progressed. The other had an off-the-field issue he had to weather. And those could be two of the guys that really dictate how good that defense could be, don't they?
Yeah, I'm glad that they moved so I could see. I thought you've been here so long they just put you over intercom system. Stay off down there at Chris's University Spirit or at the Wings place. And they've done very well, Robert. Jamie, I'm extremely proud of. Jamie Blatnick had a very unfortunate situation that he brought on himself, and he's paid a price for it. And as everybody knows, he's become accessible to the media and handled himself exactly the way he should. and it was extremely difficult for him. And he never says a word anymore. You never hear him at practice. He does his job. He's become a 500-pound bencher, I believe. I think that's right. He's become a 500-pound bencher, and he's been tremendous in the weight room. And he's one of the leaders that sometimes I don't mention them because I don't watch those guys a lot, but he's done really good for us. And then Rachetti, Rachetti's has matured a lot mentally. First couple years was difficult for him with the hip injury, and leaned on it some early in his career, maybe more so than he should have. But he's fought through it now, and he's out there, and he's done well. And I expect those guys to make plays. I mean, they're veterans. They've been out there. They understand the battle. They know what it takes.
Even when you've had fluctuation in the quality of your skill guys, your offensive line has been really consistent, good from day one in your program. Do you view those guys as kind of being the foundation of your program?
They are. With what we've done on offense, I hate to give Wick too much credit, but he's kind of a soldier, and he keeps his head down and just does what you ask him to do, and he finds a way to get a lot of results out of players. Some guys have that ability as coaches, and some guys don't. And we've gone through quite a transition here on offense in 7 years, and we've been able to get really good results out of our linemen. He does a nice job of that, but I also think that we're recruiting the right guys. We're bringing guys in here that other schools may not want because of either height, strength, or some other reason, or it could be a geographical location for that matter. And Rob Glass does a great job with them, and they stay lean, and they have a really good cardiovascular system, and I'd mentioned that before. That's important in our offense, and we think it's important in the style of play in today's game to have a good cardiovascular system if you're playing offensive line. And those guys have done a nice job of that. And his coaching philosophy is almost this is what we're going to do. This is how we have to do it. I don't care about any other issues you have. This is just what has to happen. And then if there's a mistake, we're going to fix it and go down the road and don't look back. I think that they've kind of adopted that coaching philosophy, and it's worked well for us.
Coach, you mentioned the hype earlier, a different kind of buzz around here this season. Does that extra help your excitement level in practice and preparation as you get ready?
Up and down. I think it's there's so much now, and it starts so early in the year. It's been going on since April. That at some point it kind of fizzles out. They really just have to stay focused on what's going on. There's definitely a lot of excitement in this community and across the state. You see more people wearing orange, wearing Oklahoma State football stuff across campus. You go out to eat at night. I go out to eat a couple nights ago with my family, and people are talking about it. You can go into the stores around here in the community, and people wearing orange. There's a lot of excitement. We're going to break the ticket sales again probably tomorrow for the second time in 3 years, and that's with Holder doubling the prices, right, Kyle? So he's made it hard on Kyle, and he's made it hard on Kyle and me, and we're still doing it, which it's the right thing to do, to try to get things going. So there's just a lot of excitement, and it's a good time to be here, and it can't get any better. The game day that we have here, we have the national championship bus is parked out here, and there's just a lot of things going on now that we're very appreciative of.